So 2 needles, 4mm in the middle, and when you use that with a 1/4 inch strip, which is about 5 to 6mm, it goes perfectly down each side at the same time. So you're only doing 1 row of stitching, but you've got two, you know, you're only going down that seam once, but you've got 2 rows that it's stitching at the same time, both edges, and it's perfect. I think they say 6mm for a 1/4 inch, so if you've got 4mm distance, you've got 1mm from each edge, so just perfect. But today's one, as I say, I'm going to show you is how to use Bonder web, so a fusible web on the back of some fabric, and putting that in place on here to make it stained glass. Now, stained glass traditionally you'd probably have black, but I'm going to use a purple because I had some sitting there, and I thought we'll use purple because I think it will go quite nicely between these, where the edges of the fabrics are and where that little gap is. So I put that to the side for a moment, and I need to switch my iron on, and we'll talk a little bit about Bonder web. So there is Bonder web, there's thermal web, there is heat and bond. Quite often, especially with heat and bond, you do have different weights of it. So you can have heat and bond light, I think there's extra light to be honest, and then there is ultra, which is thicker. Oh, purple's your favourite colour. Now, have I got some purple glasses? I did, so I can't remember now. I have some new glasses coming and they are all different. Okay, so Bonder web. Right, it's like a piece of paper. I'll tell you how it comes here. So it comes on a roll, or you can buy it packed and flattened, but it's in a roll. Yeah, I like heat and bond. I haven't got a supplier that does heat and bond, but so Bonder web, let's just see if you can see. No, well, I can feel, let's just hold it this way. Can you see? No, does it shine? This side is slightly textured, and that is your dry adhesive. That side is paper. So if you quite often use for applique, where you can just iron your shape onto your project, and because it's see-through, oh, well, it is see-through when you put something underneath, you can actually draw, you can trace the design excuse me, and then cut roughly around your design, iron it onto the reverse of your fabric, and then you can cut out on the line that you've drawn. There's no point in cutting out your Bonder web exactly and then having to recut it when it's on the fabric. So as I'm just going to cut strips, I'm just going to point this down here with my iron. Oh yeah, my iron's on now. So we're bound to freeze because it happens. Oh, dum-de-dum-de-dum. Can you see there? Okay, let's move this here. Right, so I have my purple fabric. Oh, it's better that way, that's it. Never get the idea of this. So that is the front of my fabric, but I want to have it on the reverse. So wrong side up, and then the textured side here is going to go down. Now when I cut a piece of Bonder web, I always make sure, can you see how it's narrower than my fabric? There's a little edge there, there's a bit more there, and there's a bit more there. Because you don't want to iron the Bonder web so the adhesive is under here. If it overlapped the edge of your fabric, you're going to iron it onto your mat or your ironing board. So the first thing I do before I pop that on, I like to warm my fabric up. So it just makes the bonding process work quicker. So I've just run the iron over like so, and then I'm going to put, making sure I'm going to put the Bonder web down, so I've got the papery side up, and I can just see, that's it. So none of that is going onto my mat. And then I'm just going to iron this on, and you can see it almost becomes transparent as it heats. So I'm just smoothing that along, and I would go from the outside. If you're using a bigger piece, I would go from the inside to the outer edges, so that any air bubbles are pushed outwards. And now, how long would I say? Probably, you don't want to iron too much. I would say 10 seconds probably at the most, just over and down here. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. And down here. And I think you'll know when it's bonded. So now I'm just going to allow that to cool. So I'll stand that up just so that it can cool down. And then I'll just test that it is. So we'll turn that off. We'll test that it is bonded. I feel that I can see it has bonded quite well. But if it hasn't, you can always re-iron just to make sure it is bonded well. Now, you can, just as a tester, try and pick at the edge. Whoops. You just try and pick. And what you'll see, yeah, I think that has bonded quite well because I can't pick that up. So I imagine that is quite well. Now, when you do cut a shape or, well, when I've cut some strips, what I would say, or with the back of any shapes, always use a pin just to scratch. So I just scratched, can you see there? I just scratched a little bit so that you can pull there. That's done well. So if you start pulling adhesive off with that, it means you haven't used enough heat. But that is on there. You can hardly see there's anything, but it just feels very smooth underneath there. So what I'm going to do now is move that out of the way. I've got my little mat here. Just shift that over to there. So here's the mat. And I'm just going to cut some strips. So we need to look at this as to, I can see I will be putting a long one down here, a long one down here. So I only need two fairly long. Most of them, or they will be quite long, most of them are quite short. So I may very well get away with cutting some little strips across the short edges here. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and as I said, I'm just going to have a look at the gaps just to see. Half an inch. Yeah, I might actually do, rather than a quarter of an inch may not cover some of the gaps I've left. I might do 3/8. So 3/8 is halfway between a quarter and a half. And I'm also just going to trim away where there is no bonder web. So I'm just going to cut down here, slide my ruler. I don't know if you can see that bit, but just so that I've got that edge. So I've got all bonder web there. And oh, there's just a little bit here. So I'm just going to do this freehand, so, because we'll be trimming that in a moment. And then I'm just going to cut, as I say, some strips here. So I'm going to just trim that end so that close my blade every time. And then, as I say, I'm going to, let me have a look at this here. I'm going to do 3/8. So it's just a little bit wider. That's it. So that might, no, I might do it a half. Yeah, I might just, yeah, I'm going to do it a half just to make sure. So half an inch cut. So, okay, we're cutting through paper, but it really doesn't, half an inch, really doesn't matter. Oh, I need to keep some long strips, don't I? Let's just see. I'll do one more like this, because I need to be able to go from top to bottom. So I'm going to take this one here, and we're just doing a half inch. There we go, half an inch from here to here. So I just like to slide the ruler along. There we are. So there's one long one. And we won't be using the whole of it in, because this is longer than the actual piece that it'll be covering. So we can use the other end. And then we'll do a little bit of thinking. So 1, 2, I'm going to do one more. But let's say if we do all long ones, we can always trim them down to the size we need. Actually, I might even do another one because there will be a bit more than we think. So lining that 1/2 inch and just cutting that down. Okay, so we'll put those out of the way for a moment. So I have got some long strips. So now I'm going to take my mat back again because we are going to do a little bit of ironing. And what we've got to think about is, there we go, we've got to think about where we don't want, I know we've got raw edges to this, but because the Bonder web's on there, it isn't going to fray because it's keeping that nice and solid. But what we need to look at is where we're going to have our job. What we don't want to see is like a piece like this coming on the top. Can you see how it sits on the top there? We want that to be hidden underneath. So what we need to look at is the in-between pieces. So I'm going to look at, let's just have a look here. You can see all of that, or perhaps I should move that way. Okay, so I can see this little bit here needs, and I'm going to use scissors each time here. So we are going to have one piece that is going to go, and I would take it from white or the edge of one fabric to the edge of the other, because that's going to be covered over. So we will have one little one that's going to sit there. Let's take that one off because we don't need that one. We will need another one here. So that's not quite long enough. So we will have this one, which goes from there to there. So that one is going to need to be there. And I will need a little one here as well. So from the edge of that fabric to the edge there. I've got one to come here. Can you see that one there? So let's just make sure that's it. So I'm doing it from the edge of the fabric there to here. Because I can see that there's a line that's going to come along down here. Now we also need to have one across here and across here. So let's just see. Ooh, that is just about going to do, because that will be covered over. And then we will have one here as well. So again, across there. I'm bound to forget one. So what we will do is we will pick, so we're going to have one over there, but before we do that one, we will have that to do, or we'll have that to do. So we need that one, and that one, and that one. So I will put these ones on first. So again, as I was saying, with a pin, we're just going to, that's it, so that can come up. Okay, so the ones I've laid down, I can actually iron those. So this one here, oh, I'd already started to pull that off. So just a little pin, or even your seam ripper's good. Seam ripper is really good for doing that. So there we are, we're putting that over to there, and then this one as well. Just make this come off. So a little bit of a pin into there, and it pulls off very easily. So you can see that's just a little bit, it's smooth. So it is a web, but it's absolutely smooth. And put that one there, and then we can have this one, which I'll just pull that one off. The pin does it very well. The reason I was saying, if it's a shape that you're appliquing somewhere, don't pick at the edges, because it can distort the shape that you have. So it's always better to have a pin, scratch the paper side, and you can rustle it like that, and quite often you can just put your, yeah, see, I'm just putting the pin in between the two layers. So that one is going to go just there. And we'll do the same with this one. So just rustle it about, and it pulls the two layers apart. Oh, it's not, oh yes it has. So just twist it a little bit, and then without ripping the paper, it will just come apart like so. There we are, just easily like that. So, and it is static, as you can see, it's just sticking to me. So that one went just there. So now the other thing I didn't say, which I must say, is do not use steam. This has to be purely dry heat, so no steam. So this little iron, I could put water in it, but I don't. So just heat it up nice and hot. And as I say, I was just wondering if it says on the box. Usually it says somewhere how long. Oh yes, there's a little leaflet in here. Usually says how long to heat it, because what you don't want to do is 6 to 7 seconds. Oh, that's in German there, application. Now, I never have it. It says cover with a damp cloth and iron on for 6 to 7 seconds, pressing down lightly at each time. Okay, well, I don't use a damp cloth, but I'm just going to iron that down because we're going to be stitching as well. I think that's held already. You can feel, and I'm just doing a little bit of movement, but not a lot. So just a little bit, because you don't want to move it out of place. And I think that's bonded quite well. You'll be able to feel. So you could count to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, too long. And then this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see, yes. You see, if you then try and pick it up, I can tell that that is firmly stuck. So the next one I need to look at, I've done these little ones. That one is going to be a long one. That one is going to be one long one. But I do need to do these next short ones. So it's going to cover over both of those. So let's just get a piece here. I'll just stand up and move around here. So again, I'm going to go from here to here. And then similarly here, from there to there, and cut. And then again, now I'm going to go here, but I've got this one. So I'm going to put that one on first, because this one is going to cover that end up. So from there to there, have I got, oh, no, we'll use another one. That's just the end where I've got no bonder web. So we're going to go from there down to there. And that's going to be, so that is the only one, because this one is going to be long. That one's going to be long. But once I've done this one, I need to do this one so that that end is covered up as well. So let's just do these ones here. So I'm just going to twist, twist, and I can feel that coming apart already. So that one goes, yes, I've bonded that one. Just make sure it covers your white areas. So again, rustle, rustle, twist, and that is ready to come apart. Just throw that down. So across there. And then this one was the other one. Rustle, rustle. Sounds as though I'm calling Martin. Okay. No, this one went down here, didn't it? That's right. So up to cover the white and to the edge. So again, we'll just, these ones go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got the iron on hot. I haven't got it on extreme heat, but it is hot. And as I said, no steam. You could try with a damp cloth, but as you can see, I'm not using a damp cloth. Okay, so we've done those. So the only other one, let me just have a little drink of tea, is to cover this raw edge here. That's better. To cover that raw, so we need one long piece just here. So again, over the centre, so that I'm covering that up, covering the white or whichever colour you would have put under there, and rustle, twist, and that will come away nicely. I've only got one long thumbnail, and that does help in situations like this. So again, there we are, and a bit of heat across there. Okay, so that I'm sure will be heat. So I've just got two left to do, one being down here and one being down here. So we will pop this one along here and cut off down here, and then another one down here. Now I need to be a little bit careful because that was quite wide over there, so that will be fine. And lay that one down there. And doesn't it look different? If I had used black, I'm sure it would have looked much more dramatic, but it's not bad. So I've given it that little wriggle, and you could, there we are, that started to tear there, and that bit comes off. And you'll know that it's not, if it starts to pull the adhesive off, you know you need to iron it a little bit more. So I'm just laying that on there. In fact, as I've just taken that off and laid it in place, we'll just iron that. Just make sure that is in place. Now the instructions say to dab like this. I like to give it a little bit of movement, and 6 to 7 seconds. So I can see that is well and truly bonded. And then just this last one. But as I say, it is just a case of just working out which ones you need to do. So before you start, lay it out. Before you start ironing it down for sure, just make sure I've got all my raw edges covered there. Just have a look at it and make sure that your edges, you're covering over these edges here. So as you can see, you can still see some of my quilting that I did to hold it in place, but that looks so different, doesn't it? I say, unfortunately, I haven't got a twin needle with me. These are a little bit wide for the 4mm centre of. Oh, let's switch that on. The 4mm centre of a twin needle, but I'm just going to stitch down just to show you. So the thing is as well now, it is best to stitch just the way we put in the order that we put our strips on as well. So these short ones first, so that you stop, and then you can do the long ones. So let's just have a look to see where we're going to start. So I'm just going to bring the sewing machine in and see if I can put the extension table on here so that we can see it a little bit better. Okay, now let's see where this needs to go. No, wrong. Oh, no, here we are. Okay. Right. So let's get that needle up. No, that's too far, too close. There we are. That's better. My arm in the way there. Okay. So all I'm going to do, I could do this one here because that is, actually I wonder if, let's just take this around here. I'm going to do this short. Thought it might be better. Yeah, let's leave it like that. So I'm just going to do this short seam. I might do a stitch length of, let's do a small, let's leave it at 2.4. So actually what I am going to do, I'm going to move my needle position so that I can line my standard foot with the edge of my tape. And I am going to move it to, let's see, let's move it right to the 7. Okay. And let's see, no, that's even. Yeah, no, I don't. No, that's a bit too. Right, so on my foot, I can see there's a halfway mark. And I'm going to line the halfway mark with the edge of this, this strip of fabric. So I'm actually going to, whoops. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. I don't want to, yeah, that's all right. So no, it's gone back to 5. Yeah, okay, so 5.5. So I've got it exactly where my 1/4 inch position would be, the 5.5. But instead of using the outside of my foot, I'm using the center point there, and I'm just going to stitch across here. So it's going to give me a stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then I am just going to cut just to keep that neat on the top, but and not take too much time. So I'm going to do the same down the other side and cut. So I've done that small, that short one there. I'm also going to do this short one here. So again, and I've only turned it around because so that I could change my foot, or I could change the needle position, but it's easier just to turn it around and stitch from the other way as well, and then you're in the right position. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I can get a continuous line. Let's just cut these off as I go. I'm getting a continuous line of stitching where I need to. So I've done that short one, and that one here. I then need to do this short one here, or the middle one. So again, I'm just going, there we go. And then while I've got another parallel one here, and rather than keep turning the work around, I'm going to go across this one. And then I've got another little one just here. So I'm just going to move, as I'm cutting my threads all the time, I'm just going to move it across. And then I can do, so I'm doing all the right hand side to start off with. It just saves time. And then I can turn the work and come back again. So I've done that one side. I'm now going to do this other side. And cut. And then I will do this one here. So I'm just finishing off from where I've done just the one side. And we'll trim all these bits of thread once we are nearly done. Just take that over. Don't really want to stitch over them. And this last one up here, which I missed. So this little short one here. And cut. Right, so I think if you remember now, there was an in-between ones which I had to do before I did those 2 long straights. So I'm just trimming these little bits here because I think it is nice to just see some continuous lines rather than, or I suppose it would just end up anywhere. So we've done those. I have now got, oh, this one here, I think. This one needs to be done because it'll be continuous over there, but then I'll need to do that one there. So we did have that one in between, didn't we? So we can stitch down there. And we'll trim off that. And then we'll swivel it round. And we'll come back down the other side. So that one is done, and trim those bits off. And I think we then need to do, those are going to be my two, oh, we need to do this one here and this one as well. So let's just start here. So these were the in between as well. So straight down here. And again, I'm just going to do the one side, as there's 3 of them all the same. So I'm going to do one side for all of them. And then I can come back up the other side. And you can see it really doesn't take that long, does it? So straight down here. Okay, and then swivel the work round so that I don't have to change the needle position, and I've got the same width from the edge as if I had done it all in the same direction. So straight down here and up there, and then the last one here, and we'll trim those threads off in a moment. There we are. I was just thinking, seeing these, looking at these colours, I don't know if you all remember, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, Rachel's on, Beads by Vachil. She was on here the other day, but it's tomorrow. It just soon comes round, doesn't it? And then, as you know, I'm on Sunday at 7 and 11. Right, so that's all those. So, having got all those other ones, I've just got this long one and this long one here. So I will just whiz up the side here. And because it's right in the middle, it's not bulky. I don't have to have a big throat at the side. And what I'm going to do is, that's the edge, I'm just going to pivot round and be ready for coming back down the other side. Because that, when I join it to something, well, it's down here. When I join it, that will be hidden anyway. So that's nearly the last. I'm just on the last one here. Keeping that position, that halfway point on my foot. That's it. Keeping the position halfway across, lined up with the edge of that straight grain strip. It's not bias. It's just a straight grain that I did because we've only got straight lines to go around the floral fabrics. Okay, wow, that looks so neat, even though I say it myself. Right, let's move that away. Can you see there? That is looking really, really, Right, up we come. As I said, obviously I couldn't see any comments that you were making there. So let's just have a look. Rachel's got some beautiful beading. Yeah, oh, mice. Whoa, more Trisha bag. Oh, I wonder which bag she'll show. Bless her, she is very good. Oh, thank you, Pamela. It is relaxing. It is very relaxing. A little bit not like decoupage, but like decoupage in paper crafting. Oh, don't worry, Sharon. Lovely to have you here. Bridget's worried that her obsession with the line of duty means I keep seeing the letter H. Martin loves the line of duty. Is that with Ted? Is that with Ted? I see bits of it, but I haven't got the time to sort of get engrossed in it. I did watch one. Anyhow, there it is. I can see some of you books. Do you not think? Let's just whiz these up. Mine too. What's mine too? Lovely. You like? Oh, you're welcome, Di. Really it does finish it off so well, doesn't it? It's well, considering it was just scraps, and that was just a scrap of the purple and a bit of Bonder web, it's come up really well. I mean, it doesn't matter which way round you put it. Gives me a chance to have a cup of tea. I'm sorry we froze. So it does just finish it off. And as I say, thank you, Jackie. As I say, even though these are raw edges at the side, because the Bonder web's there, you love Black Russian. That's a drink, Angie, isn't it? Yes. You can't even notice. You've just started binge watching it. Oh. Yes, so thank you, Sharon. Yesterday's one, if you saw yesterday's, that's how we got the background of it, and that left as it was with, you can just see, I've covered most of the stitching that I did to hold it in place. Oh, you can just see on this mauve bit here, down here, you can just see a little bit of the stitching. But at that point, I hadn't thought about doing the stained glass. So I'll show you the back, because even that's it's not so bad. Not so bad at all. Need to trim a little bit of those ends off. But yeah, basically for some scraps, it works, doesn't it? And all those ideas of what we would use it for, I mean, it could easily be a bag, couldn't it? Yes, who knows? I haven't written my yesterday's notes down, what we were talking about. Oh, you missed a bit of that, but it was right, yeah. Oh, thank you, Marion. I hope it's okay too, but we'll see. Thank you, Tracy. So this is, and thank you, Lindsay. So this is for one of those points in time when you want to sew, but you don't know what you want to sew, and you don't want to cut into that beautiful fabric. I mean, I've been there myself. You've got, even if you've bought 3 metre pieces, which is what I used to do, because then it meant that I could, you've been chatting, yeah. Then it meant that you could use a bit and not sort of destroy the whole of it. But when you've got a fat quarter, and if you cut into it, it might not leave you enough for that project that you will want to do, that you don't know what the project is yet, but you don't want, so you leave it, don't you? Oh, you've got lots of scraps. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Right. We do end up with so many scraps, and I don't like to throw anything. Still got those scrap boxes, but I'm building another one as well. So, yes. Yeah, will I bind it now? I think I will. Yeah, I could bind it in purple, couldn't I? So I would just trim this off so it's nice and straight, and then I would put a binding in that normal way that I do. You've only just made it today, Mary. Never mind, Mary. You were back at work, weren't you? Oh, well, I hope you've had a decent day working. Or is that next week? Can't remember. You want to make one of these now, Bridget? Yes. Or do you mean now? Well, you never know. You never know. But yeah. So, nice and simple. You can't really make a mistake, because I bet you can all make one of these just in beautiful colours. Even try it with, if you want to make it more, you're welcome, Angie, if you want to make it more jigsaw puzzly, if you like, or more, put triangles, put some different triangles together, or cut some different shapes. It was just thinking that you've probably got scraps which have got straight edges and they're strips, or they're on the fold of fabric where you've just trimmed it away, and you can iron that, because that's what most of these were. I just ironed them and then laid them on and just cut to where I wanted to. Oh, thank you, Joanna. But yeah, give it a go. I would love to see what you come up with in the group at some point. Oh, Judith can't wait for Sunday. Better go up early. Oh, I think just a little heads up, Judith. They're on the website now. Di's already put her order in. Thank you, Jill. So I suppose I shouldn't say, but yeah. Get in there quick. It was 7 and 11, that's right. But I'd love to have your company at 7 and 11. Send some pictures in as well, because we very rarely get a chance to say, send some pictures in. But if you want to, Be lovely to see some projects that you've made on the show, and you know, give you a name drop on there. And I should be having, unless there's a change, Yanis at 7 and Paola at 11. So I haven't worked with them two for a little while now, so should be fun. Thank you, Penny. So, right, I will, all coming up 6, good timing. Thank you, Sadie, have a lovely weekend. I have Yanis in the morning, yeah, they're both in the morning, aren't they? Yanis at 7 and Paola Pasquale at 11. So, we shall see. Yeah, have a look on the website. Some of the things I won't have any more of. So some of the fabrics I have very little left of that are Frenches and 8-inch widths. So I would get what you can if you particularly want it. I probably will have. I've got these flowery ones on again because they were so popular. I'm looking forward to the backpack. Yeah, I shall demo the backpack without a shadow of a doubt. I'll need to do that. It might go over the 2 shows though, so that I do the first part and then the second part in the second show. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, everybody. I do need luck. I do. So, and Kathleen's looking forward to Sunday as well. Thank you, Di. If you haven't already brought everything back then. Yeah, wouldn't it be funny if I got there and they said, Trisha, you have no stock? I would just laugh. I would just laugh. But no, that is not going to happen. Thank you, Yvonne. Going to the CC site now. Oh, well, it's the craft store. Not. You'd have to set your alarm, yeah. At least it's not like the last show when I did it on when the clocks went forward. So bless all of you that got up for 6 o'clock, basically it was. What will sell out first? Oh, we could have a, yeah, we could have a little competition, couldn't we? I'll put a little competition up when I come off here now. So how you can help me is by sharing the post, because it just spreads the word even further. So if you comment what you think the first seller, yeah, it's the craft store, that's right, Yvonne, yes. Is it? I know. CC. Backpacks, yes. Right, now don't put your comments on here. I need to know which one though, because there's 3, aren't there? There's 2 in the larger version and 1 in the smaller version. Okay, so see if you can get in there quickly. And it will have to be all comments in before the show starts at 7. So let's say by midnight on Saturday. So it gives you 48, no, it gives you 24, 30 hours. But I'll write a post as soon as I come off now, so that you can all pop your comment under that post. I'll pin it to the top, so as soon as you go on to Say Totally Trisha, it will be there. And when you've done your comment, if you can share the post as well, fab. And I'll have to think of what I can give you. I might do a charm pack or 2 this time. Yeah, I'll see what I can find, or I'll find something that you'll like. But what I will say, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been lovely. It's probably been the first week that I've done Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Thank you, Yvonne. Glad you enjoyed today. I've enjoyed the camaraderie that we have between us, and it just lifts my day of when I've just been cutting and packing and cracking the whip with Martin as well. That Matt for a prize. You could have that for a prize. Of course. I don't really think much of my my little sample bits, but yeah, okay. All right. Thank you, Bridget. So please, all of you, stay safe and take care. See you on Sunday morning at some point, and look after yourselves. But I shall be 7 o'clock Sunday morning on the craft store, Freeview 85, Sky 673, FreeSat 817, or online at www.thecraftstore.com. Bye for now.